So in my presentation slide, in my introduction, and I have a slide where I spoke about myself in detail and then about the business in detail. So maybe I can explain that during my presentation. And also, if there are any questions, I could answer them quickly and give answers to any other questions that are not contained or anywhere that they need more clarity. Hello, sirs. Can you see my screen?
Yeah.
Yes, yes.
Okay, I want to be sure so that I will know it's sharing properly. Okay, good afternoon, sirs. Good afternoon, all professors. My name is Ola Ajibola. I'm presenting a PhD thesis with the topic Model of Guaranteeing Media Independence and Sustainability in Nigeria using Centralized Traffic and Advert Trading System. I'll be taking a case study of my company, Knowledge Cinema Network Limited. Generally, I'll do a brief introduction of myself, my business, and I go straight into my thesis. Like I said, my name is Ola Ajibola. I'm a business and ideally strategist. I like starting up business and running it. I'm passionate about technology and I'm passionate about innovation. I founded the Knowledge Cinema Network I started Knowledge Cinema, I created Knowledge Cinema in 2013. And I've also started and created some other businesses over time for the past 10 years. I have an holding company that has strategic interest in media, technology, agri, energy, real estate, and what have you. And then as part of it, Knowledge Cinema Network is a part of it. I have an HND in computer science, and I also have a master's in business administration from the Rome Business School. I started my career as a system engineer, network administrator, and then I moved into web design. Then I moved into social media strategy in 2011, and then I moved into content strategy by 2012. By 2013, I started doing content management as a professional. And then I registered my first business, PRMP, as an enterprise with the government officially as a company in 2014. And thank God, today the company is over 10 years old with all these other sister companies. Okay, so these are some of our moments when we did our 10th anniversary, when we're having some strategy session with my team. This is a picture of me in Canada where I went for a management and professional training. These are some of my colleagues at the office when we take pictures together and some trainings. And this was me in Thailand when I visited the CPI palm oil plantation mill to study their case model for replica business in Nigeria. This is also me when I was in France with my team under Knowledge Cinema Network to visit the Cannes, the festival at Cannes in Paris, France. Okay, so let me talk a little about Knowledge Cinema Network. Knowledge Cinema Network, as a business, we are a multi-channel network, and what we do is independent media broadcast. We create content from news to music to movies to news, comedy shows, and we broadcast through streaming to Nigerians and Africans in diaspora. So because a lot of people have traveled out of Nigeria in America, US, China, Thailand, UK, and all of that, and then they cannot get local content from local TV in the countries they are. So through this network platform we do at Knowledge Cinema, we're able to stream this content to local content lovers in diaspora. So primarily, that is what we do at Knowledge Cinema Network. It was created in 2013. We got license from the YouTube as a premium enterprise partner in 2015 to be able to use their tools for work. And then we restructured our business in 2013. Currently, we have about 100 channels, over 100 channels that we manage. We have about 34 staff, in our organization, employees. And in the space of 5 years, we were able to do a gross revenue of about $8 million. As of today, we're able to have secure partnerships in about 5 different countries. We've gotten a couple of plaques and awards. We have about 5 brands in-house. In 2023 alone, we were able to gross a revenue about 3 million. That's one of our highest grossing years so far. Ajibola, myself, I'm the MD, CEO, and then we have Isaac Ademola, who is the director of the business. This is the short summary of our financials for 2022, for 2023, and 2024. So I put everything in a table for your consumption. So in 2023, our revenue was about $844 $1,000. This has been shared, so you can look at it in a later time, because I want to keep my presentation short as advised. Okay, so these are some of the figures. But one prominent thing I would like to say was in 2023, we were able to make a profit of almost $1 million from this network, Knowledge Cinema Network. All right, these are some of our moments, my graduation from MBA. These are some certifications that I've been able to obtained so far, some of them. And I move to my chapter 1. So chapter 1, the background and importance of this topic. This topic was inspired by one particular peculiar challenge I experienced growing in Nigeria, and that's about media and media relevance. In about 2009, there was a media company that started in Nigeria with almost about $13 million. They had the free open check to start up with $13 million. But unfortunately, this company closed down within 3 years that they started. They went bankrupt. Why? Because they were a media house that wanted to stand for the voice of the people, that wanted to be the transparent and the conscience of the people. They were not compromised, they were not corrupt. But unfortunately, they couldn't remain in business because they couldn't sustain their business. To sustain a media business, you must be able to continue have revenue, to be able to pay salaries, to run your office, to be able to run generator. And those money comes from advert trading. That is either through newspaper, people give you advert. They give you money so that you can insert adverts in their newspaper, either a TV or a blog. People will give you money so that you can insert adverts in your paper. But in a situation where whoever you are writing about is not favorable to you, is not your friend, or wants to have a control over your business, you will not be able to have that true freedom, because your success, your finances, your revenue is dependent on whoever is paying you to put adverts in their business. And that was a case study of 234 Next. So it inspired us to come into this study. One, to study this model for developing adversaries. What we are simply saying is one individual have to go about looking for people, direct link between advertisers and publishers and media companies. Because the moment there is that direct interface, the advertisers, whoever is spending that money, has the tendencies to want to control the media, their narrative, and their truth. So, but when we mean a centralized system, it means an advertisers come to a neutral ground, a neutral platform, or to a neutral organization, drops the advert there without knowing the owners of the media house or what media houses its advert is going to. And then this centralized body, through a random algorithm, would, and based on the traffic each channel has, will be deploying these adverts to those channels, and then payment can be made. So that is the essence of centralization of this traffic management and advert trading, just to avoid a situation where a media company a media organization will have to rely on a relationship with either the sales manager, the owners of the companies, to be able to get adverts to keep his business running. Also, this study the model of increasing revenue to reach more media outlets without being influenced by external forces against the freedom of their practice. History of the study. Nigeria's history with media long back is pre-colonial era. So before Nigeria got its independence, Nigeria was colonized by the United Kingdom, and it was the United Kingdom that brought media into Nigeria in the first instance. The time they brought media, it was an essence to pass information to the people and also to increase literacy and education among the people, was why media came. So every media at a time has its own agenda and its own purpose. Post-colonial, after independence, unfortunately, there was a military rule in Nigeria. And then it was the military that took over the media space. And then the military will begin to control outrightly what was happening and what was published within the media space all through that period. But gracefully, and thanks to God, we returned back to civilian rule in 1999. Why the citizens of Nigeria were excited that, okay, we are back to civilian rule, there should be freedom of speech, there should be freedom of expression, we are no more a military rule where they control everything the media does. But unfortunately, it then happened that the economic champions, the business owners, the entrepreneurs, they hijacked the media space in Nigeria and started using money and political influence to push around media places. So that was how it came to individuals being able to influence media, because they're the ones that will sponsor your programs, they're the ones that will sponsor your movies, they're the ones that will show adverts on you. So these entrepreneurs and powerful business owners who are friends of these politicians begin to have a hold and control over the media. And then thankfully, then now came the rise of digital media in Nigeria. And then the emergence of digital media began to give a level of liberation into it. An example of that is the Arise TV, which I also used as an illustration at my last presentation. You know, they were foremost, they are logged, and they are a media house that is able to speak to the conscience of the people and speak to the government, mention names, and give out media freely in information because they are not dependent on any government interference or any economic chieftain or alliances to the government. So because you have money, you cannot really influence the output of their media. Quickly, the situation and general information about this study. We are going to be exploring one, the vulnerable states of media independence and the recurring challenge of financial sustainability, like the example of 234 next I gave, the opportunities and risk of the digital revolution, and then the need to centralize traffic and advert trading. Chapter 1.3, related concepts and theories. And there's a number of related theories, and this phenomenon on media independence is not just peculiar to Nigeria, it is global. And then different theories have emerged over the years. First, from the libertarian theories. The libertarian theories, their own approach is that media should be transparent, that media should be like an oversight on the authorities and on the government. The media should be the one to checkmate government uses and excesses. Meanwhile, the authoritarians, they think otherwise. They are completely different to the first set of people. They feel that media should be used as a weapon by the state, by the authority, by the government, so that they can hold power and then they can discern whatever kind of information. The last set we have here is the Soviet communists. And the Soviet communists believe that the government should totally, especially the ruling party, not just the government, that the ruling party should be the one to control the media, control what information goes out, so that they can use it to spread favorable news, policies, and ideology about their party and their manifesto. And that takes me to chapter 2. In the chapter 2 of my case study of my thesis, I'm going to take a case study of the development of knowledge cinema network, how we're able to build knowledge cinema network, and how we can use it as a model to develop a free-to-run, independent, and self-sufficient media outlet. The background of the study. I try to talk about my growing up. I grew up in the city of Lagos. Lagos is known to be a very bustling and hustling spirit, but people that have high hustling spirit. I lived through the nooks and crannies, different areas of Lagos. I schooled all my life and lived all my life in Lagos. And so I started my career professionally as a graphics designer in 2008. I was a graphics artist at Arrows Medias. It was a media and advertising agency. It was when I started as a graphics artist. That was sometimes 2008. And then because I studied computer science, I practiced as a system administrator in 2010, where I was doing system repairs, system support, and all of that, servers and all of that. And then by 2010, I'd moved into web designing and social media strategy. And then by 2011, I was doing social media strategy professionally in 2011. And then by 2013, I started Knowledge Cinema. And at that point, I'd resigned from my last place of work, which was Ibaka TV. I resigned to start up the Knowledge Cinema in 2013. And over time, we've been able to grow the business into group business. And we've had sister companies and a lot of subsidiaries. So my work experience, very importantly, with RS Media, which is a media house, like I've said before, and Timbuktu Media, the owners of 234 Next. And then I had a consultation with one of the firms in UK on digital, creating a platform like this. And then they shared the brain knowledge that centralized trading is also what is being practiced in UK, and they have a body called BARB, B-A-R-B, that sits on all traffic. So if you have an advert as a company, for instance, you cannot just go to maybe Sky London or CNN London. No, what you do is you submit your advert to BARB, and then BARB independently distributes this advert on all channels fairly, depending on your traffic, on the ratings of your traffic. So in that way, that's why you have free media, where a media can write about even the Prime Minister of the UK without getting any sanction, and the business is still growing and run. So these experiences gave me insight into this case study development, and that's how we started the Knowledge Cinema. So Knowledge Cinema itself, like I explained in the beginning, it is a one-stop shop for all entertainment needs. We cater most for people who are in diaspora, people who are not in their primary country place, that are in diaspora, that wants to keep touch with home. Like you want to watch movies from home, you want to listen to local language. Maybe you're in America, for instance, but you want to watch Thai music, you want to watch Thai movies, and then you don't have Thai stations in the US. So that is what we thought of, and that is how we started the Knowledge Cinema. We started creating content for Africans in diaspora. We get local content and put it up and stream. So the company started with almost zero cost, is $0, is €0. We didn't have money when we started, and we started in 2013. But we were able to leverage on partnerships. What we were able to do was to primarily acquire content, and then we air them on our channels. Like I said before, I'll get there. So these are some of our moments back in 2013, back in 2010, back in 2015, and so on and so forth. These are some other moments. And then the operations of the business. So the business operates digitally. It's not a satellite TV, it's not an analog TV. It operates digitally, and it operates on the backbone of the Google content structure, which is YouTube. Now, so we were able to acquire what we call an MCN, multi-channel network, which allows us to operate multiple channels at the same time. And then the Google had a system that is called the AdSense. AdSense is what they use to make payments to people. Is a third party of itself. different from the YouTube system. And then there's an AdWord, which is another second party different from the AdSense and YouTube itself. So which means if you want to run adverts, you go to it to an AdWord, for instance, to input your AdWords to adverts. You cannot put your advert directly on YouTube. You put it via AdWord. The AdWord would randomly now put in this advert on any channel based on customer feedback, customer algorithm, and how your traffic is moving based on algorithm. Then when payment wants to be made, payment is not made through YouTube to you directly, and payment is not made back to AdWord. Payment is made through another third party that is called AdSense. So these operations allows the system to work in a way that it is managed centrally without any direct link between the advertisers and the media platforms. Okay, so it totally eliminates any form of prejudice, nepotism, favorism, or sabotage. On our operations, 2.3.2, our team. So our team comprises of 6 social media team. We have a content team. We have marketing and administrations, and what have you. And all our staff are full-time, that are based on full-time staff and full salary staff. We don't have hybrid and we don't have off-site at the moment. Everybody comes and resume in the office full-time. So our revenue model, like I shared from the beginning, we operated a shared revenue model, which became a challenge for us, but I will get there and explain it. So our percentage model was you bring your content for us on our platform, and instead of paying you, we do percentage sharing. So at the end of every month, we share the revenue 70-30, 40-60, 80-20, depending on the quality of the content and the value of the content. Most times in our business operation and our revenue, we also try not to spend a lot in recurrent expenditures. We ensure that we keep our expenditures below 15%. Why we earmark about 20% of the revenue for marketing purposes, and then we acquire content at 35%. So as we grew bigger, we started to acquire contents and not just leverage on only the percentage sharing, so that we can also be able to make more money for the business. So like I said before, we ventured into content partnership. So we tell people you bring your content, we air it, and then you go. Then other times we started collaborations where we do production. We say, okay, we give you funding, we tell you the kind of stories, the kind of musicals, the kind of shows that we want. We give you the financing, you go and shoot it, and then you bring it for us. So we've had this kind of collaboration. Sometimes we support with equipment at our own collaboration. We say, okay, we'll give you all of the equipment you need to go and shoot the news, to shoot the podcast, to shoot the documentary. We give you the equipment. When you finish shooting, you bring it to us, and then we share proceeds, and sometimes we do pay off. So the problems and obstacles. So one of the obstacles we encountered was getting partners to onboard based on revenue split. It was difficult at the initial stage, having to bring partners to say, okay, bring in your media assets, we'll split it. And because at that time, nobody knew us and nobody understood what we were trying to achieve. But we were able to get a few partners who trusted and believed, and then gave us content that we started using, and that's how we were able to overcome that. In 2015, also, we needed to have certification, and we required at least 3 members of our team to have not less than 70%, to be able to do that, and we were able to do that. Something remarkable happened in 2017 as well. There was a global advertisers boycott from the platform, and that was because of rape issues, terrorism issues, and all of that. But good enough, they were able to resolve all of that, and all advertisers came back on the platform. I've discussed also the solutions for it. One of the solutions to drought, we brought in our partnership reach. Okay, so we also reached out beyond Nigerian market. I think sometime in 2022, we started having collaboration with people outside Nigeria, because we realized that the business model was the same and it could be replicated. And so we had a partnership with companies in India, in Vietnam, in the US, and in Germany. And in that year, that was what was responsible to the surge in our revenue in 2023. We had over 200% revenue within that 1 year. So we extended our partnership, broadened our partnership across beyond Africa. So we went to Asia, we went to the Americas, and we hope to continue to do that. These are our SWOT analysis. You can take time to also look at it, the strength, the weakness, opportunity, and threats of the business. Most of you have this, our media, it gives you an opportunity to be able to choose from whatever you want from, to learn anything you like to learn. And then content are not forced on you, unlike traditional media, where once you own it, what you see is what you get. Our model of business is not what you see is what you get. It's what you feel like, what you have interest in, based on what people like you have seen. Okay, as we know, in every other business, as every other business, there are weaknesses too, as much as their strengths. So reduced content is one of the challenge. Copyright and false strike are one of the two weaknesses I'll pick from here. In the threats, and like I said, advertisers boycott. If advertisers boycott your platform, threat, because if they are not bringing in advert, irrespective of the seamless system, it's still going to bring about drought financially. And the opportunities are endless: ability to scale beyond borders, ability to be in Nigeria and be able to partner with companies in Thailand, to be able to broadcast media in Nigeria, and you can get markets in the US to watch it, enjoy it, and relate with you. Those are some of the opportunities. So quickly, I'll go to my chapter 3 while I'll wrap up. So what are the success factors? The model of knowledge cinema network. 3.1, the success factors. So the study presents the success factor in the business was quite a number of items that I've put down here. One, centralized traffic management was one of our success, because we didn't have to rely on partnership with individuals, sending marketers or team outside to knock in one office or the other. From the comfort of our little office in Lagos, Nigeria, we're able to do business, and viewers and media people, advertisers all over the world were able to advertise on our product. Even next door neighbors who do not know us could easily run advert on our platform, because it's an open and a centralized source. So what you just do there, put your advert there, and it is served for us. Another thing is advertisement trading efficiency. Because of the technology that this is built on, there is efficiency, and there is, and you can see it on the go. It's a real-time expose. It's a real-time expose to your advert trading. You can see how many adverts were served, where they were served from, how much it was worth at that time, without any bottlenecks, forth and back, invoicing, and all of that. So that really saved a lot of cost, and then it increased our productivity. Diverse content creation. So we are not streamlined, we are not restricted. So we had diverse content, from religious content, we had news, we had local language movies, local language in Yorubas, we have in Igbos, and people were consuming it differently. We had Christian content, we have Islamic content, and people were consuming it independently, because people wanted new knowledge. People wanted unlimited, diverse access to content, not what is being restricted to be shown on the TV box. Stakeholders engagement is also going to be a good success factor for the model of this business. Everybody needs to come to the table to agree. The marketers, the content creators, even the viewers have to agree that, okay, how do we move forward in this business model? Because it is not a one-man driven thing. Everyone has to open up their system. Everyone has to be open up their system to make this work. So there must be stakeholders engagement at all times. Then data-driven insights, analytics, our system provide detailed analytics up till you can determine the mobile device that each viewers used in watching your movies. You can determine how many minutes did they spend on your platform watching a particular minute. You can determine did they share it after watching it. So this kind of data helps advertisers to be able to have confidence to put money in advertising on your platform. So a data-driven insight is of essence. So these are some of our moments also. I was invited to one of the TV stations in Nigeria to speak about media and digital media and content. Also in some workshop and some workshops in Nigeria and outside Nigeria, Cape Town, France, and this was me also in a session with my team, sometimes on the field also. These are some of our plaques and some of our partners. Also, these are some of the biggest comedy skit makers in Nigeria as of today. So other success factor is hiring the right team. It is very important to have the right team at the right time within your work environment. It was very impactful for our business because as at the point of start, we needed people who could key into our vision and understand what we were trying to do. We needed, and we were lucky to have this kind of people who understand that if you are in Nigeria, when is 2 o'clock in Nigeria, it might be 10 p.m. in some other countries. It might be, some countries might be 6 hours behind, some countries might be 6 hours ahead. So we needed team members who understood that sometimes you might need to overwork your shift. Sometimes you might need to stay back at the office in order to be able to meet the need of people that are in diaspora. Customer service cannot be overemphasized. It is the key of business. Customer is king. It is non-negotiable. Excellent customer service, it is non-negotiable. At all times, like we always tell our people, you must always maintain a positive attitude towards business at all time through the viewers and all of our partners. So these are some of our success factors. And straight to our philosophy of the model. For Nigerian media stakeholders, this model can be suggested on how centralized system can improve media sustainability in Nigeria. And one of the ways is to key into mindfulness of practice. This mindfulness of practice is not something that is very popular. A lot of people are not very aware of mindfulness practice. It is unpopular, and in a lot of workplaces are not embracing it a whole lot in their work culture. But over the next few years, mindfulness practice will become a key to look forward to. Mindfulness practice, especially from the leaders, it will continue to be. For instance, when people just get to meeting, there's a routine. It's more like this is how it is done. This is what should be done. At sometimes, business leaders could just call for a Zoom meeting. Let's have a meeting at 2:30. Everybody gathers at 2:30, and then the meeting starts. Mindfulness practice is an example of saying, okay, before we start this meeting, is there anybody who's having anything bothering their mind? He's saying, can we all take a walk for the next 2 minutes and then come back? Can we take a deep breath? Can we, those kind of exercises that should relax the mind, that help the mind to rest, put the mind to the point of rest before getting into work engagement. So it's a new phenomenon, and I hope that over time it's going to be embraced in the workplace. Compassionate leadership. A leader must be seen to listen intentionally. A leader must be seen to intentionally listen, and not just listen because you want to converse or you want to listen so that the person can finish, so that you can say what you have to say. A leader must be listening with an intention of first understanding what the subordinate or the partner or the viewers is trying to communicate. Intentional. There must be an honest and intentional willingness to listen. A compassionate leader must be open-minded, whether that's giving you an advice or is a whistleblowing incident or it's just criticism or general concerns about the business. A leader must be perceived to be trusted. People must know that they can trust you with their word, they can trust you with their challenges, and they can trust your leadership. So in this philosophy of model, it is important that any company should embrace compassionate leadership. Also, clear ethical guidelines. Sometimes in Africa, we have an adage, we say when there is no rule, then there is no sin. So there must be rule before there is a sin. So it is important that the guidelines, the ethics of your business is spelled out. For any future business leader, you must ensure that it's clear cut ethical guidelines. Everybody understands the processes one by one. And once this happens, this is the consequence. Once this happens, this is the reward that comes by it. It must be concise, it must be clear, and it must be communicated to everybody at all times. If I'll take an instance from our establishment, we have it on our company policy, and once every quarter, we do a review of the company's ethical guidelines, just to remind ourselves of our expectations, what we are to do and what we are not to do. It's very important to have this clear ethical guideline because one is going to promote fairness, because there's a standard. If staff A falls short of a certain issue and you bring out your ethical guidelines and you follow it, by the time maybe a staff B does the same thing, you don't need it, it won't have double standard. Everybody understand that this is the consequence of this. So everybody will have that sense of fairness. It's going to be protecting the rights of every staff members of the organization. It's going to minimize possibility of harm with witch hunting or victimization of staff. And then it's going to be establishing the standards of behavior within the organization. So your ethical guidelines, it must be clearly stated, developed, and communicated. It must be concise. In philosophy of model, we have employee well-being. Like I've stated in the mindfulness part when I speak, as leaders and as businesses, employees have to feel the need that they are heard and they are supported. Their well-being must be prioritized at all times. So policies must be implemented that intentionally want to support work-life balance, that will intentionally want to see how are my staffs, how are they behaving, what is their well-being. Sometimes it's not because they are humans. They are humans, so their well-being, if they're in a good state of mind, their productivity can be better, they can be higher. Once a human being feels a sense of care, a sense of protection, he knows that my future year is safe, my future year is good. If anything happens to me in my course of work, I am sure this organization is going to take care of me very well. They put in their life to it, they commit their life to it. So in this philosophy of model, we speak about the employees' well-being. Recommendation for the future from our case study, Knowledge Cinema Network, artificial intelligence is something that we hope to embrace. We have started making research into it and started embracing it. We realized that one content could speak to 4,000 different people, and all of that could be attributed to language. In Nigeria alone, we have over 250 languages in Nigeria alone. Over 250 languages in Nigeria, over. So we are trying to adapt artificial intelligence in the area of voiceover and translations. So which means if we upload the content in English language, it could cut across several other languages at the same time without the cost and burden of producing those content in other languages. Indigenous SVOD, in our future recommendation, we're also trying to develop indigenous content, the first of its kind in Africa. It's called the Yoruba Max, where we are going to be creating a subscription-based video-on-demand application in a native language in Africa. It's not going to be in English, the content is not going to be English, so that it can service over 40 million Yoruba-speaking people globally. That is our future recommendation. And then in conclusion, we think that implementing centralized traffic system has a lot of benefits to all the stakeholders. One is going to help everyone stay focused, and the reliability of technology is going to make these activities easy and stress-free. When we have this centralized traffic system, The business currently in Nigeria, the media and advert sales Nigeria is choked up. It is stressful. It is a lot of work, but with little rewards. And that is because there is no one media establishment that can authoritatively tell you that this is the gauge of my traffic. This is the total number of people who are watching my content. This is where they are watching for, because that technology doesn't exist. But the moment we can implement a centralized traffic system, all of those things can be measured. We can have accuracy on the number of views we are getting, the number of people that are hitting our channels, our platform, and all of that. I spoke about fostering collaboration among stakeholders. Everybody there, from the government to the independent media owner, to the academias, to policymakers, to advertisers, professionals, we all have to come together. In the future, everybody have to come together to be able to build a system with their experiences, their contribution, and their resources, plus data, knowledge, and technology, and what have you. They have to be collaboration of stakeholders, and it has to be an ongoing conversation. It has to be ongoing where everybody can have a win-win. And then we must promote regulatory framework that supports media independence. The government must ensure that it tries at all times to allow the media independence, and by one, reducing the harshness they put towards them. One, also their demands on programs, because for instance in Nigeria, before you make any kind of content, it will always go through Nigeria Video Film and Censors Board for approval. So there are a lot of bureaucracies in that process. If they can make it simpler, make it more unified, I think it's going to help. Then there should be a framework to say what happens at this point in time. If a media gets XY number of traffic, what is the rate? What could be the likely rates? Not necessarily putting a price to it, but let there be a framework that everybody can work with, so that media A is not selling his media assets for $2, because media B wants to beat media A, it goes to sell his own for 50 cents. So but if there's a framework that guides everybody, you can play on a level playing field and on a fair playing field. Okay, then there should be monitoring and evaluation. There should be continuous improvement from every stakeholders. Once we've been able to create this collaboration, maybe create a body like a BAB, or an institution like an AdWord, for instance. There should be monitoring and evaluation. Everyone should be interested. We should see the progress from the timelines that we have designed and we have set. Where are we in this course of implementation? What have we achieved? There should always be monitoring and evaluation of the performance. Thank you so very much. I hope I was able to do 15 minutes. Thank you, professors. That is my presentation. I would like, if you have questions or contribution, I'll be glad to take them.
That is a very good presentation. Okay, I would like to hear the professor who participate. Okay, in the meeting. Okay, include Dr. Humphrey from Nigeria. Yes.
Dr. Humphrey may be the first person to cheer up your student. Dr. Humphrey.
Yes.
Yes.
Good afternoon from here. I know it's good evening in Bangkok. Sorry I joined late, but I really worked also with Ola. Yesterday, he didn't sleep. I made sure that he did not sleep. So
he cannot sleep because his business is 24 hours. It's global business.
Exactly. So it's a good work, and it's something that can be applicable in any organization. That was my first time of knowing about mindfulness practices. mindfulness practices. He also mentioned employee well-being. So these are models that can be implemented anywhere, and he explained them very well. So I can say that he did a very wonderful presentation. Thank you very much.
Yeah.
Yes, good evening. I have, according to your presentation, and Ola, you well done. You do very well, and then give more details of that. It seems like we have to listen for the history or the details of media in Nigeria and Africa. It give us the details of your presentation. It's very well. But in fact, when we listen to your background, you actually graphic engineer, something like that. But you touch very few about the how you implement. You are specialist in graphic in engineers. That's the one point I would like you to mention about your specific also. And another point, you touch a little about the media. You what kind of media you present, and then you would like to focus on. If possible, you can mention specific media, newspaper or TV or something like that. I mean, it may focus on the details of that. And another point I would like to hear from you, like the application or the platform the media will be used in your presentation should be mentioned about the platform. What do you like? What is the best for your information or something like that? But totally all the information, the presentation you've done very well, and then very good high values for presentation of for your dissertation. That's my point of view in that short. Thank you very much.
Okay,
Yes.
can I respond to that, or I'll wait for the next professor so that I'll take it all together at once?
Yes, I think that your presentation make me figure out, make me have a picture, make me have the atmosphere feeling from the colony country in the umbrella of Britain. After that, independent already in the military regime. So many different atmosphere. I think this is a very difficulty to what you call to adjust to change or something like that. It is very difficult, but you can passing on the different environment, and you can stand, and you can have the advertising. I think that you have to make the you can perform sustainably. I think that you are good for your philosophy of the model. I think that it make me feel that why you can passing through the different atmosphere for the media. that is very difficult, but you have passing that. I think that's a very good presentation for your career, your experiences. Thank you. Thank you.
Dr. IBM, you want to cheer up your friends?
I was with him yesterday. Ola, you tried. I actually enjoyed your presentation. And I think all the faculties should be able to come and see the good work you are doing. They may also be excited that it's not just only presentation, but the practical experience you have acquired over the years. That's very presentable. Thank you. I appreciate.
Yes, very good. Very good.